Hello and welcome back, friends. My name is Michael Yates and this is the Ridgeview Pod. We are so happy that you've chosen to spend a little time with us today. It is my rich honor to have a guest that's been with us a couple of times throughout the last couple of years. Amanda Taylor, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's great to be here.
I hate that it seems like the only time we see each other now is when we're doing this, but better this than nothing.
Yes, so. I agree. And a few emails now and again.
Yes, so. Exactly. So it's that time of year again. August is rolling around, and this is usually when you host an enormous community resource fair that's beneficial for not just providers of services in Anderson County and some of the surrounding counties, but for the citizens who are in need of resources. Yes. So I guess just remind us what your role is at the church and a little bit about your actual job responsibilities.
Okay. I am the Minister of Missions and Director of Creative Ministries at First Baptist Church of Clinton. And so I tell people that gives me all the fun stuff, really. So all the type of benevolent services we have, whether that be the food pantry and the clothing ministry or the homeless outreaches that we do, and various events such as this one. And then creative arts, anything that you can think of that can be used in ministry, from dance to drama to blacklight hand theater to crafts and origami, our photography group, our painting classes, and underwater basket weaving. I always say, if somebody wants to use it in ministry, we will find a way.
Wow, okay. I had no idea that it was that diverse.
It is, but there's a lot of crossover actually, because we do like crafts at Clinton Towers, or we'll do crafts and take them to shut-ins at a nursing home or something like that, and you find some crossover between the two a lot of times actually.
You are the Minister of Fun.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yep. I think so.
Okay, so what's coming up is the Anderson County Community Resource Fair. I know we were talking before we started recording, 5th annual, like has it been 5 years? Actually, without COVID, this would be the 6th annual. So give us a little context about the purpose, the mission behind the fair, and where are we today with it?
The fair is moving right along. Last year we had 83 different helping agencies participate, which was incredible. I think the first year we had maybe 30 or 40, and so we've seen it grow each year. I'm wondering if we'll see an increase or be slightly shy of it this year, because I think we already have about 70 agencies signed up, so that's pretty much on point for getting to about 80, but we were kind of bursting the seams a little bit of the gym last year, so we'll see if it grows anymore. But it really kind of sparked from a couple of people's vision that were kind of loosely associated with our church, saying that we should have a missions fair, just so people know what all the opportunities are to serve people. And so I kind of kept that in the back of my head, and after a few years we thought, let's go ahead and do it. And I think it has deep meaning for me, because in working with so many people in need in the community, I find often just feeling at a loss, because there's such great needs out there, and I feel like I don't have the time, the energy, I don't have the money, I don't have the knowledge or the skill or the training to help some of these many diverse needs that I see. So I know me, in and of myself, I'm not enough. But I also see that our church is not enough to help all the needs that come through our doors. But I know that we as a community, we have different resources in different areas that can help the people. So I know that I can't meet all the needs, but I believe that we as a community can meet the needs of the people in Anderson County. So really it becomes a job of trying to remember these resources, to know about them, and to be able to connect people in need to them, and working together as a partnership so that we can meet the needs of the community. So I find it kind of a threefold vision. One, kind of an accidental thing we didn't realize with it, is that it helps, it's really good with networking with the different agencies, because you find one agency saying, oh, I had no idea that y'all did that, or hey, we don't do that, but you do, and next time I find somebody, I'm going to send them to you, and all of a sudden our helping agencies in Anderson County are becoming more knowledgeable of each other and working together, which is a beautiful thing. And I think even if it does nothing else, that's a beautiful goal to have. but also people in need of resources. If anybody needs, it's a great opportunity to connect with those face-to-face. Really a golden opportunity, because sometimes you call some agencies and they just don't have the staffing to be able to get back to all the calls, and it can get frustrating. But here you can come and see them face-to-face and get your questions answered. But I think the part of the vision that I love the most is that people who don't need resources sometimes say, why would I want to go to something like that? You know, I mean, I don't have any, I don't need anything. I'm not a part of one of these organizations. Why would I want to go? But I really believe that we as people, as citizens, as Christians, or however you find your thinking, we need to be about helping people around us. And there will always be people around us in need. We will never have a shortage of that. And so if you really love your neighbor and you really want to reach out to them and help them, then you need to make yourself knowledgeable about what resources exist to help them, because you can't do it all your own.
Yeah.
And you're only able to help people as much as you are knowledgeable of what's out there to help them. And so I kind of believe that if you come to the resource fair and you educate yourself about all this, then, you know, maybe even a year down the line, somebody will approach you and you say, I remember that there's this in Anderson County. You should go there and find services. And so I believe we become like walking resource fairs, you know, around our community. And so when somebody has a need, we can be more apt to be able to help them, and I think that's awesome.
Well, a couple things. I think my wife and I attended representing Ridgeview at one of the very early ones.
I remember that.
And I think maybe that was when there were 40, and at that time, the gym seemed packed. So the fact that you've almost doubled that in terms of vendors present, there you must be utilizing every nook and cranny. The other thing is, as you said, with networking, I had more fun just getting up and walking around and seeing so many people I did know from the community who were there to support and share information, but then meeting some services I had no idea were out there. So from a provider point of view, it's critically important that we do have a very thorough understanding of what are the various services and providers that exist out there, because people's needs are very complex and different, and so you want to try to connect people with the right organizations or right programs and services to get their needs met. So.
I think I'm always interested. Well, one personally, you know, you talk to people on the phone or you email them when you're working with different organizations, and then to get to be able to put a face with that makes it seem more personable, and I'm more likely to reach out to them, or they give you their cell number. You can just text them, hey, do you have anything for this person? And it becomes easier to work together, and we're more apt to do that. But on a slightly different subject, I'm always amazed when I run into the people that like a couple years ago, a businessman said, well, I didn't think too much of this resource fair, but, you know, I started thinking that I have a lot of employees that are often in need of services, and they're going to be better employees if they can get their needs met. And so it really benefits my business to be able to come here. Or someone saying that I didn't know much about this resource fair thing, but then all of a sudden my neighbor had a mother or father that was, you know, they really needed help with, because they needed some, you know, adult services, senior adult services, and they just didn't know where to turn. And so I was able to help my neighbor out, you know, or a teacher in the school who says that, you know, I try to keep up on all the information, but it's really hard because I'm busy and there's so many needs in my classroom. But if I can come to the resource fair and I can get all the information at once, it makes it so much easier to be able to help my children who are marginalized or on the outskirts or just need a little extra care, and I can advise their families on where to find the information. And so I really think that no matter what your job or your profession or your interest, you can find, you know, a reason to come and a reason to benefit from it.
No, well said. You give a couple of anecdotal stories there as evidence as to how important this is. I know one of my colleagues, Melody Morris, always tells the story of having met a couple of other people that we have lots of different residential services that we provide, and a lot of those folks that are transitioning to more independent living sometimes need support with kitchen items, for example. And Melody met a couple of very charitable folks that brought in pans and dishes and other kitchen items to help that person get a good start with greater independence. So those kinds of things are happening all the time.
Yeah, and when I talk to helping agencies or providers who are considering coming to have a table, they for one, they ask me, how many people do you expect to be there? And there's just no way for me to gauge the amount of people, but I think because people come in and go out of the room and nobody's there with clickers trying to keep track of all that. But I think I did it by cups last year. I think we had about 280 different cups. So so that counts, of course, the helping agencies that are there represented. But sorry, I'm losing track of my thought. What did you say right before?
I was just sharing the story about Melody getting connected.
Sorry about that. But I tell providers, they say, who are we aiming at speaking to? And I say, well, you have some people come in need of services, but it's a great opportunity to find new volunteers, people that can help you out with their time and their energy. But also you may find some people that, have some money. They may not have the time and energy, but they want to donate to something. And so you may just find a good day of fundraising there.
Yes,
so there's all kinds of reasons to want to participate like
well,
that. So.
We'll embed the flyer in the content of this, and also when we share it on social media, the flyer as well. But let's give our audience the details, when it is, what date, and the time frame.
Okay. It is coming up Sunday, August the 18th from 12 to 2:30 in the Family Life Center Gymnasium of First Baptist Church of Clinton. That address is 230 North Charles G. Seivers Boulevard, Clinton, Tennessee, 37716. There will be free food there. If nothing else, come and get you a free hot dog, hamburger, chili dog, all the fixins'. There will be kids' activities and door prizes and just a great day of fun and fellowship. Also, if you're thinking about having, if you are an agency, really the requirement to have a table is that your organization has some kind of benevolent serving aspect to people of Anderson County. So sometimes that's a sliding scale fee, or sometimes it's free services, but that's the requirement. You can contact me at amanda@fbclinton.org, amanda@fb as in First Baptist Clinton.org, and I can register you to have a table. The cutoff time is usually about the Wednesday before the event, and so you can participate that way. We have a website that is www.acresourcefair.com, and on that you can find pictures from the past events. There's an exhaustive list of all the different helping agencies that have participated in the past. There's some advertising information, which brings me to a great point, that one of the hardest things to do with this resource fair is the advertising. We don't have an exhaustive advertising team or anything, and we don't have a huge budget, so really getting the word out is one of our major needs. And so if you can share the flyer, or there's a promo video on there, a short one and a more lengthy one, at one of your community gatherings, if you can put the insert, the half-page thing into your bulletins on a Sunday if you go to church. Any of those things would be greatly helpful. If you have a food pantry and you can put the flyers in your bags as you hand them out, there are a lot of different ways to help advertise, but you can find all that information on www.acresourcefair.com. And so I hope that you'll take time to look at that. Yeah. Also, in addition, if you're a business that wants to exchange advertising for becoming a friend of the fair, as we call them, we can put your logo on the website, and also we'll have it displayed at the resource fair. So sometimes newspapers or agencies will do that in exchange for helping us get the word out. Right. So that's always an option as well.
Well, I was going to ask, for those that can't attend, where can they learn more about it? You've provided all that information. We'll embed that in the content as well.
Yeah, sometimes I get people that are asking, or they're wanting to add their resource to our page of web links. And really, this is just a page for participating agencies. So if you've participated in the past, you can be added onto there. But our more exhaustive resource manual for the county is housed under United Way's website. So you go to United Way of Anderson County, and then I think there's one that talks about community support or community programs or something like that, and then you click on that tab and you'll find the Anderson County Community Resource Manual. And so that's another good place to find a lot of resources that you may not realize are in our county.
Great.
And to be able to use those, and if you're an agency that wants to advertise that way too.
Great. So if you're able, please share this video with friends, family, colleagues. Let's help get the word out, and let's make this the biggest and largest, not only vendor turnout, but community turnout as well.
Yeah,
So.
And there's one more way that if you would like to, if you come to the resource fair, we have a theme. It's hashtag Are You in the Know? Are you in the know? And we use that, kind of what I was saying, similar at the beginning of our conversation. The more we know, the more love we show, and that's our theme, meaning that we can't really love each other completely if we can't help each other, and we need to have that knowledge of what resources exist in order to do things. So the more we know in this situation, the more love we can show. And so there's a booth at the, oh yeah, see? Yeah.
Right there, I was going to say.
We got a shirt.
There's
even
a T-shirt named
yeah,
something.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but we have this little booth, you know, and I'm not real smart on all social media things, but you can take your picture in the photo booth, and you can share it. Hashtag in the know, and then that kind of helps to build interest for the resource fair. So that's another great way of participating. So look for those on social media.
I think you underestimate your marketing acumen with
I have good people to advise
like
me. To advise me. Yeah. So.
Well, since you last joined us, I don't know if we were doing this when you were last on the Ridgeview Pod, but we try to close out with some other ways of getting to know our guests.
Oh, good. Okay.
Some little fun rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Would you mind humoring me by answering a couple of these? All right. So, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Oh, yeah. Have you always been?
Pretty much always, yes.
What decade of music is the best?
I'd have to say 80s.
Can you give me an example of the kind of music when you say 80s?
I'm a big Michael Jackson fan,
Okay.
so you have
right.
you know, the peak of that music.
Yeah,
of course, I really love all decades of music when I start to think about it. But the 80s were pretty great for a lot of, you know, Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, just a lot of them. Really good.
Very good. So if you could travel back in time, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
Goodness, that's a tough one. I would have to say, don't get too attached to your plans. You leave a lot of room for flexibility, because no matter what you plan and no matter what you think and no matter where you think you're headed, God may have something different in store, and you need to be able to release that vision, because sometimes He has an even better thing in mind, better than we can ever dream or imagine sometimes, though it may look scary at first.
An old Yiddish joke that goes by, if you want to make something like, if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans.
Tell God your plans,
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, greatest movie of all time?
Gandhi. I really like the movie Gandhi.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Yeah, I have not seen that in a while.
Well, I love Gandhi, and I love Man of La Mancha. Have you ever seen Man of La Mancha?
No.
It's got Peter O'Toole and Sophia Loren, and there's a couple of different ones about Don Quixote, but this is like the original Man of La Mancha, and it is so inspirational.
All right.
Like, I mean, like, you really have to sit and watch it and pick up on all the beauty in it, because it really is pretty awesome.
All right.
So.
Very good. One book you would recommend?
One book I would recommend. Oh, goodness. Okay, this one's popping to mind. So I don't do a whole lot of reading myself, but I was telling somebody about this one just the other day, and it's The Gift of Pain. And when I was overseas working for a while, I was working in a leprosy hospital, and so studying leprosy, and then the book, The Gift of Pain, popped up, and it really talked about how we deal with a lot of different pain in our lives, but if we change our perspective, we can see even that as a gift. Because with leprosy, you know, you lose your feeling, and then all of a sudden you're not able to understand that you're injured, and then, you know, skin rots off and all this kind of stuff. And so just talking about what a loss it is to not be able to feel pain, and And so, I don't know, it's interesting from, a medical standpoint, but also just from a perspective that I think in everything in life, though we have to face a lot of different darknesses and hard times and pain, whether physical or mental, if we change our perspective on it slightly, though from personal experience, it's awfully hard to do, and I can't say that I'm good at it, but I think it can change our circumstances if we let it change our perspective. So.
Very neat. I can see why you would choose that book. Last one. So, which 3 people, non-family, living or dead, would you invite to have dinner with?
Oh, man. That's hard. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer that, because I could think of, famous people that I would like to, but then, I'd have to choose my family members that are gone, because, I'd love to see them again. So, I don't know. You've stumped me on that one. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, it's been, as our viewers know, it's been fascinating to learn some of the different folks that people select. So go back and watch those episodes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I can't add to them.
I appreciate you playing along. It's just, it helps our viewers get to know another part of our guests that's just not quite about the work and the business, and but about that other part of who and what they are. So.
Yeah. Well, sounds good. And I think that in the subject of our conversation today, if you look up the lyrics of The Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha, that song, I know that so often, so many of you are in positions to help people, and it can get so tired, but it's just such inspirational lyrics. I wish I had them here to read to you, but one of them is to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I feel that so many of y'all are really struggling with people, but it's a heavenly cause, and there is beauty, and you can help the people that you're struggling with. And so look that up for inspiration when you're at it.
Very good. So, that's a perfect note, I think, to close on. Amanda Taylor, thank you so much for coming in. It's always great to see you, and we appreciate you tuning in. And please share the information about the resource fair coming up August 18th from noon to 2:30.
Yes.
Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Take care.